Hello and welcome to my series of read aloud children's books for grown-ups. I call it Back to Basics. The books that I'll be reading will address sensitive topics that may be difficult or challenging to talk about and think about. But children and the folks who write children's books have a way of distilling and making the information more simple and straightforward and easy to understand. This is the same concept as beginner's mind, which we've talked about a lot on my Facebook page and in my monthly musings. Beginner's mind in meditation is a mind that is free from judgment, from preconceptions, all the things that we pile on as adults as we live our lives and have experiences. Children don't have that context. And I would invite you to try to come to these readings with that beginner's mind, that child's mind, that is open, not judgmental, not thinking about the past, and not coming with preconceived notions of what is going to happen. Today's reading will be The Kissing Hand by Audrey Penn. This is a wonderful book about transitions and how sometimes a small gesture can mean everything when you're looking for support. Chester Raccoon stood at the edge of the forest and cried. "I don't want to go to school," he told his mother. "I want to stay home with you. I want to play with my friends and play with my toys and read my books and swing on my swing. Please, may I stay home with you?" Mrs. Raccoon took Chester by the hand and nuzzled him on the ear. "Sometimes we all have to do things we don't want to do," she told him gently, "even if they seem strange and scary at first. But you will love school once you start." You'll make new friends and play with new toys, read new books, and swing on new swings. Besides, she added, "I know a wonderful secret that will make your nights at school seem as warm and cozy as your days at home." Chester wiped away his tears and looked interested. "A secret? What kind of secret?" "A very old secret," said Mrs. Raccoon. "I learned it from my mother, and she learned it from hers. It's called the kissing hand." "The kissing hand?" asked Chester. "What's that?" "I'll show you." Mrs. Raccoon took Chester's left hand and spread open his tiny fingers into a fan. Leaning forward, she kissed Chester right in the middle of his palm. Chester felt his mother's kiss rush from his hand up his arm and right into his heart. Even his silky black mask tingled with a special warmth. Mrs. Raccoon smiled. "Now," she told Chester, "whenever you feel lonely and you need a little loving from home, just press your hand to your cheek and think, 'Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you.' And that kiss will jump right to your face and fill you with toasty, warm thoughts." She took Chester's hand and carefully wrapped his fingers around the kiss. Now, she said, do be careful not to lose it. She teased him. But don't worry. When you open your hand and wash your food, I promise the kiss will still stick. Chester loved his kissing hand. Now he knew his mother's love would go with him wherever he went, even to school. And that night, Chester stood in front of his school and looked thoughtful. Suddenly, he turned to his mother and grinned. "Give me your hand," he told her. Chester took his mother's hand into his own and unfolded her large, familiar fingers into a fan. Next, he leaned forward and kissed the center of her hand. "Now you have a kissing hand too," he told her, and with a gentle "Goodbye, I love you," Chester turned and danced away. Mrs. Raccoon watched Chester scamper across the tree limb and enter the school. And as the hoot of the owl rang in the new school year, she pressed her left hand to her cheek and smiled. The warmth of Chester's kiss filled her heart with the special words, "Chester loves you," it sang. "Chester loves you." I love you. I hope you enjoyed the book, The Kissing Hand. It is, of course, a wonderful book to read to a child who is transitioning, for example, from preschool to kindergarten. But it also tells us that when we are having a transition, when we are scared, when we are insecure, that the smallest gesture can have the deepest meaning. So if you feel it in your heart, the gesture, but you're not sure if you should do it, I say, do it. Give the support. Make the tiny gesture and know that what seems small to you might mean the whole world to someone else.